Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And if you got through those last videos I dropped about the box and part one, two, and three, we really kind of described a psychological prison. And really, I told you I went through a corporate self help training and we went through a whole bunch of group processes that were supposed to help people kind of like open up and realize a whole bunch of stuff. And for each person, it was a unique story. We all have unique backgrounds and patterns, and it was supposed to help us live a better life. And the reality of it is, when I got through the program, I felt confused. There were missing puzzle pieces. There was so much going on, and the quality, a lot of the information just wasn't there when you're going through your own personal process. So this really can't replace, going through a transformational workshop, but on another level, it can offer you something that doing group activities uh, doesn't support. And that was the intention, was to give you a skeletal outline so you could puzzle piece it together, and maybe where you're at on your journey, uh, some of this outline could help you go to the next level, uh, get out of the cyclical repetitive patterns. um, and now we're going to move on, because really understanding that you're like in a psychological box was basically step one. And yay, people got out for a few minutes, and congratulations, you graduated. No more help, no more people. Here you are to face your whole entire life. Uh, and really, that's just to scratch the surface of know thyself, of self discovery, learning about your infinite potential. And so so this is now kind of where we stop. Uh, this is where the information ends with them. And we move on. And and yes, we refer back to the program. Uh, you know, we're gonna fill in more puzzle pieces. Uh, but we have to move on. So, with each of those corners of the boxes, I organized it in basically fire, water, earth, and air, um, drawing heavily on my mystery school background. And we will continue. So, the bottom for earth was environmental programming conditioning, and that can include genetics. And if you want to be, we'll try to stay out of some of that stuff. And so your environment affects you and kind of pre-programmed you, but also doesn't offer you certain experiences that you might be good at, or that you might be bad at, or you never even thought about. Because it wasn't even offered in your environment, you don't even know. It's kind of a blank. Uh, so there we would assume, okay, Onyx, we're in this box, we've now discovered it, and yes, you told us to take risks and challenge ourselves, and when we feel uncomfortable and triggered, we're supposed to sit with it, move through it, and do something about it, change the program. Yes. um so I for each of these four quadrants, there should be four keys, or four ways you have to turn the key to get out of your prison, right? And we would assume these would be the opposite of kind of what got you in there. So, what really can you do about environmental conditioning? Uh, you can change your environment, and that would feel very uncomfortable. If you're used to living in tropical weather and you all of a sudden move to colder climate, there's going to be an adjustment period. There's going to be fear. There's going to be obstacles. You're going to have to reacclimate. And so we hinted about that's what life is about. Uh, willing, choosing into change, choosing into uncomfortable, and then make it comfortable. You know, and so we would say that would be one key. But the other, so then the West was feelings and emotions. And a lot of people get stuck feeling negative emotions or lower emotions. A lower emotion is, that chocolate ice cream tastes so good. Or everyone is cheering and I'm caught up in the wave of everybody else feeling happy cheering for their team. Or I'm listening to this song, it's making me feel good. Uh, or that feels great, or that person's cute and attractive. It's like lower chakra stuff. Higher emotions is compassion, care. We won't really use the love word because that word has been so distorted by religion and spirituality. Love now just means like. It's such a common word now. It's lost its power. So we choose to use the word compassion, care, an enrichment type of feeling that transcends everyday life. You're going for deeper, bolder, richer, uh, of a positive nature. And so I would say anything below the heart chakra would be lower emotions, like, feeling secure. You got that bonus, of that paycheck, and now you feel more secure with your environment and you're happy. That's kind of going for security, or you were able to buy someone special a thoughtful birthday gift, and so that strengthens your emotional bond and it makes them feel good. That's second chakra, you know. Um, that's really working within the relationships. But once again, it's a security, it's a reinforcement of the bond. It was a declaration of care and things like that, but it really wasn't transcendent. It really didn't do anything more than that, but create more security within that relationship. Another one would be getting a trophy, getting praise for a job well done. And, that could also include a bonus, and all those lower three emotional centers feel fulfilled. And that affirms the identity. Yes, this is me, and this is who I am, and I have done it. Now, is that bad? No. I'm just saying those are lower emotions, and you've just scratched the surface to a level of expanded emotions and an expanded well-being and deeper purpose. You're not going to get to it unless you level up, unless you start what I call moving above the belt. So in I would call it the ethics of warfare or the ethics of a fight. Uh, Fighting dirty is when you can't fight ethically. When you have no more rules, when you have no more integrity, you start fighting dirty. We do that because either pride, lower chakra, third chakra, we do it for a sense of survival. I don't care. My life is on the line. So there go the rules. There goes the policy of being a lady or a gentleman. It's not about doing it with grace, with talent anymore. It's about the struggle and the justification of survival. And so survival, so you can look at that if you want, and you can start asking yourself, do I go for that dopamine fix? Am I going from one thrill to the next? Or a self-soothing emotion to help you not look at the stuff that you're supposed to be looking at. So entertainment, watching hours of Netflix, yeah, that feels great. Or not working out, that kind of feels great. Eating the wrong foods kind of feels great. You kind of pay the price later. The price you pay is you're not doing the inner work. you're not turning that negative energy into positive energy. So you're not creating rocket fuel. You're creating a ball and chain. And so all of our negative behaviors is to justify something. We get something out of every negative behavior. We get something out of every positive behavior. So you can start asking yourself, what am I getting? What is my payoff for procrastinating? What is my payoff for not speaking my truth? Like everything we do, we think it's going to get us to where we want to go. It's going to be right. And so we do a lot of horrible things, not so good things, well, little shady things. And we're trying to still do what's right, do what's best for everyone or ourselves. So there's this weird sense of rightness that we're doing with these behaviors, but really, when we look at it, it's not. It's not being courageous. It's not being authentic. It's not being accountable. It's not living above the belt. So, what happens? So, we're going to bring in the chakra system, not as something spiritual and mystical, but as something practical. The chakra system is basically a straight line up your spine, and it basically says the base of the spine, it represents vital energy, your life force, primal needs. That's like eating, that's like sleeping and body functions. That's survival. So the only reason why you're going to fight a war is to survive. The only reason why you're going to pick a side is to survive. Do you really care what's right or wrong? No. Ethics, morality, higher consciousness, philosophy, education. No, when push comes to shove, you go into that root chakra for survival and you act and you don't care. You don't, you'll say whatever. Yeah, I'm on this team, or you'll vote for whoever blindly. You'll look out and you're just determining good or bad. Am I going to live or am I going to die? And so when you see people with extreme emotions or extreme reactions or situations, they may be living totally, completely in their root chakra. Reason has gone out the window. The next one is very close to survival, and it has to do with our relationships. The bonds we have with our kids, our parents, our brothers and sisters, close-knit tribe. You're my partner, you're not my partner. Do you think there's a lot of reason, a lot of philosophy and nuances going there? No. It's kind of like you just go with your gut. So once again, there's not too much discrimination going on. And a lot of people live in this chakra. And everything that's going on, whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, expensive, cheap, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're living in this type of security. They need emotional validation. They need emotional connection. Every little gesture, all the little things are affirming, do I fit into this group? Does my partner love me? Am I acceptable to this group? And there is a feeling sense of connection. And that's great and all. We need tribe. Humans survived because we tribed up. We ganged up. We became little communities. We became civilization. So all of these things used in balance and appropriately with awareness are very valuable skills. So people living in their root chakra can be CEOs and have lots of money and just generate wealth. People in their second chakra can generate wealth. Now let's move up to that third chakra. That's about identity. And everyone is all about identity. Look at me, praise me, or I need to accomplish this in order for myself to feel good or worthy. So we get self-worth issues. Am I valuable? But this is also a place of personal willpower. This is also a place of joy. So all of these chakras have negative aspects and positive aspects. It's when we're just completely living in them that it can get toxic. You can put your needs, your desires, your wants, your expression over the needs of others, and you can become not caring about your neighbor, not caring about your kids. You can become very selfish. You can become narcissistic, um, all because you're living in that third chakra. You know, you want to be the star of the show and nobody else. You, for some reason, have to be first, you know, or someone else has to be less than you in order for you, like a dualistic system, in order for me to best, someone else has to be the worst. And so there's a whole science into chakras, and maybe this is where you take off on your journey. You're like, this is what I needed, and here I go. But so once again, going back to that, fighting dirty is fighting below the belt. Like, not everyone is wearing a jock strap. So when someone goes for those parts, they go for those vital sensitive organs, it's kind of like cheating. Or when someone pulls out a weapon and the other person doesn't have it, that's kind of cheating, you know? And so we see this, there's actually ethics of warfare. And when it gets out of control, people break those ethics and anything goes. Same with how we live and how we treat each other and how we go about life. And so the point of this video is we're getting out of that box, but we're going to elevate. We're going to experience something greater than everyday life. So than what other people are doing. Most people, because if you're trying to get out of the box, basically this box is those 3 lower chakras. So we all have work to do. And there's no such thing as perfect. So just chill out, calm down, just work with the process. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey, wherever it takes you. So there's some flexibility here. So changing your environment was a key. Clean up your room, change your wardrobe, and so, and this is also about creating safe place, safe space, giving yourself permission. So if you're not in a safe place, you're not going to be able to open up and explore the depths of your being. If you don't have permission to cry, permission to be vulnerable, permission to have an ugly, dirty experience, to lash out, you're not going to express that. So you have your internal environment and your external environment. So key takeaway, permission. Key takeaway, safety. If you're with a group of friends, you're with family members, you're in organizations that aren't supporting you, probably not safe enough to go through these processes. You probably don't have permission. If you can't speak your truth to your partner without interaction, you're not really getting permission. So this is about opening up and discovering new levels of ourselves and hidden depths of beauty and vitality. And if everyone's feeling triggered, if everyone's feeling unsafe, if everyone's getting reactive, if your clients are getting reactive on you, it's stalling the work. So think about the environment, think about creating a healthy environment for you to have this. You might need to go out to the forest. You might need to go book a vacation somewhere and break out your journal, and go have an experience. So having the right environment is vital for your transformation. It's like a bird, it builds a nest and lays an egg. Think of it like that. So we really talked to that one. We kind of get this. So if you have family members that are really triggering during your first steps of having breakthroughs and understanding, it's probably not a good idea to go to that level and be facing them. This is not the 12-step program. We don't This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with religion, once again, with being good, socially acceptable. Okay, moving on. So, learning how to flip the script, okay, let's go back to those feelings. We've already kind of dropped hints that the best way to move through feelings is to feel them. So the more you resist, the more things persist. The more you resist, the more you're in your jail. And which got you, and you're not getting out. It's making it harder and harder and denser and denser. So the last thing you want to do is repress your feelings. The last thing you want to do is go unconscious. Feel them. Just acknowledge them. Go, oh wow, I'm feeling a lot of rage. Oh, I'm feeling very critical about this person. I'm feeling malice. I'm feeling murderous. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling completely silly. I'm feeling totally, let yourself feel a full expression of emotions. Try not to really label and judge it, but the more it flows, it comes in and moves out, ebb and flow. And so within balance, the more you focus on something, the more you get it. So this is kind of a problem for some people. When you're going to therapy and you're focusing on your problems and you're focusing on your problems and you're focusing on your problems, and you're feeling your feelings and you're feeling your feelings and you're feeling your feelings, you can kind of just get stuck there and you could jam your key in the door. That's not our goal. Our goal is to finesse the key and unlock it and move on. So let's move on. So feelings and memory really actually go together. It's like memories and trauma, they solidify with emotions, and those emotions are energy, but they're also chemicals in your body, doing things to your DNA, doing things to your nervous system, doing things to your endocrine system. So it may show up as roadblocks of disease. It may show up as other kinds of problems that have emotional roots. So learning to chill out and sit with your feelings, learning to detach and just watch them go. Yep, I had a feeling. It moved through my body and out. Well, here comes another feeling through my very being, through my mind. I had a whole bunch of thoughts about it, had feelings, my gut twisted. I couldn't digest my food right, and it's out. Whew. It's not me. Those are feelings. So moving on. So, that was like our second key. On the other part of the box was habit, rituals, behaviors, repetitive, that cement in us staying stuck. Obviously, do the opposite. Create patterns that help you go the direction that you're choosing, to see yourself as a new character, that new identity, or whatever. So if you're not a happy person and you think the world sucks and everyone's out to get you, instead of saying that all day, you say the opposite. I feel great. The world is always supporting me. So positive affirmations said daily really helps and has been proven to be just or even more effective than hypnosis. So save yourself a bunch of money. Save yourself dealing with someone else in your journey, and write your own positive affirmations. Do some behaviors that support feeling good. So when you feel bad and you're like, oh, I just want to stay in bed, do the opposite. Get up, lie to yourself. Do 10 jumping jacks and go, I feel great. Today is the greatest day. I'm looking forward to my favorite cup of coffee. I'm going to grab my favorite mug, and see how you're repatterning. And you do that every day. What do you think is going to happen after a month? What do you think is going to happen after a year? What do you think is going to happen after 5 years of a simple little ritual that goes completely opposite to your old behaviors and your old habits? You're going to transform. So there is participation required. You just can't think it. You just can't feel it. You just can't visualize it. The integration happens through action. Here we are, planet Earth, very practical, but where the creativity comes in is that it's your choice. So, an example, when I was little, I wish my mom would come into my room, pull back the curtains, and say something positive. Instead, that didn't happen. And I remember telling her, I go, Mom, why don't you just pull back the curtains and say, it's going to be a wonderful day today. Are you looking forward to going to school? You know, she didn't say that. It like didn't dawn on her uh, that, you know, and I was just like sitting in my bed, like kindergarten age, going, you know, I really wish you would do that. You know, let's just change it. Let's just, and so think about that. What are some of the rituals that affirm your weakness, that affirm your victim, that affirm your depression, that affirm your anxiety? So here's a good example. Oh, my doctor said I have anxiety and it's very common. And so I'm just going to live with it. And and then you say that and you tell your friends. That's a kind of a ritual. You've created an identity and you tell this story of how you have anxiety and how you believe it because you went to the doctor and they said yes you do, and you take these pills, and you taking those pills every day is the ritual that affirms it. And you use the doctor's knowledge as the evidence to support your story. Whether it's true or not, that's not the point for this video. Okay? So if you actually have some mental diseases and you're not ready to empower yourself, keep going to your doctor. You know, this isn't like some religious faith thing where you just discount reality. I'm just using that as an example because it came to my mind. But what would happen if you started telling yourself something different and you just don't even think about that situation? You go, there is so much more to me that's going right in my life. I'm going to eat this really great breakfast. I'm going to go to work and I have these goals and aspirations that I'm going to work on. I'm focusing on this creative project. It's due on Friday. Totally different vibration, isn't that? Totally different attitude, totally different perspective. So you're kind of learning how to reframe. So I would say the third key is reframing and then following it up with action. So that fourth key is we were looking at our beliefs, the stories, we were looking at our judgments, our assumptions, the labels, the definitions, all this thinking stuff going on, probably very polarized. And obviously, reframe it, rework it, rewrite the script. So the fourth key is rewriting your script. You know, look at the evidence, look at the data, draw those conclusions, and you say, you know what? Life is so much bigger than me. We're always discovering things. When we look at science, the old science is now basically a lie with quantum physics. You know, even like biology, we used to draw what a cell looked like in our little books, and coming to find out under more powerful microscopes, a cell doesn't even look like what they've been teaching us for the last 50 years. Wow. Come to find out, the solar system, you know, our little galaxy, it doesn't even spin the way we think it does. You know, spinning through time and space, it looks like a spiral. Our planets are moving through space and it looks more like this than a flat record that we were shown over and over again. So new discoveries, new evidence is happening. So why would your beliefs be any different? Why would the story that is living your life be any different? Why would these beliefs, these attitudes, the perspective? So rescripting, rewriting with positive affirmations, proving yourself wrong, looking for evidence where you are wrong because you want to be wrong, because that's where the new frontier is. That's where your freedom is. It's like, oh, thank goodness I was wrong. Can you imagine? I was just thinking the planets were orbiting around the sun like a record. And now I find out when we add like space and time, wow, that is so cool. Our freaking solar system is kind of like moving through the galaxy in a spiral formation. That's a whole new perspective. That's seeing reality different. Now, how do you see yourself? Now, how do you see the world? Now, how do you see humanity? So, with these four keys, you can really get yourself from being stuck. So, labels, definitions fall off of you. And this is really prepping you from, because we are working with the circle, but now we're working with the square. And now we're going to move to working with the circle. We're going to move to the greater, more expanded you. Kind of like the lighter side of you being trapped. So, and let's move on.